Greetings to all. Hope you are doing fine in this time of crisis. I'm Dr. Prakriti James, Assistant Professor, Department of Education in Pandit Sundarlal Sharma Open University, Chhattisgarh, Bilaspur. This video of mine is based on the topic converting thesis into authentic publication ready material. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. So come, let's begin the topic with the help of this PowerPoint. In this video, we are going to discuss about converting thesis into authentic publication ready material. After listening to this video, you would be able to know how to convert your research work into authentic publication material. So let's move on. After our research work is complete, what should be our next step? It always should be to publish our thesis, because research without publication is useless. Either we publish our work, else it will get perish. We need to publish to exchange ideas for progress of science. And also, it judges our performance as researcher. जो भी काम हमने किया है, अगर हम उसको पब्लिश नहीं कर दें, तो वो सिर्फ हमारे तक सीमित होकर रह जाएगा. जबकि रिसर्च इज टू एक्सचेंज आइडियाज. जो भी नई जानकारियां हमको मिली हैं, वो जब तक हम लोगों की जानकारी में नहीं लाएंगे, तब तक हमारे रिसर्च की कोई वैल्यू नहीं. सो वी नीड टू पब्लिश अवर थीसिस. So, when we have decided to publish our research work, we need to do some preparations for that. We need to follow some precautions and some steps before getting into publication. So, what are the steps, or what are the precautions or preparations we have to do before getting into publication? First one is identify the appropriate target journal. Make sure to read the aims and scope of journals you are interested into. As certain as you can be that your paper falls within the journal scope. If your research falls outside of the aims and scope, look for a more suitable home for your paper, as submitting it there would be a wasted effort. Check each journal's recommended structure and reference style for articles on its website, typical found in the Guide for Authors, to ensure that your paper is not desk rejected. You might find it useful to look at Elsevier's Journal Finder tool when trying to identify a fit for your article. Now, the next step is shorten the length of your thesis. Journal articles are typically much shorter than theses. The precise word limit will normally be stated in the Guide for Authors. So be sure to use a tighter framework and a more compact style. This means treating your thesis as a separate new work, paraphrasing where needed to express the same idea in different ways. Also, selecting parts of your thesis to repurpose, not all of it, and focusing on the main points you want the reader to understand. Our next step is reformat the introduction as an abstract. Writing an abstract can be difficult. You already have a pretty good place to start, while abstracts in journal articles are usually much shorter, say 100 to 250 words, than the average thesis introduction. The two have one thing in common. Both should contain all the key elements to command the reader's attention and encourage them to read further. Using your introduction and part of your discussion as a basis for your abstract can be a good starting point. Next step is modify the introduction. Your thesis may have more than one research question or hypothesis, which are not all relevant for your paper. Consider combining your research questions or focusing on a single one for the article. Unless otherwise suggested, try to keep the introduction short and to the point. It can also be very helpful to use previously published papers from the target journal as examples. Try to fit in with the usual form for articles in the journal. Next step is tighten the method section. Often, there is no need for an overly descriptive method section. While concerns surrounding reproducibility are becoming increasingly important, you may want to keep your method section succinct and certainly remember your audience. Your peers probably do not need every detail of tried and tested methods. A longer description of methods may be a requirement from your institute or funding body, and it is definitely warranted when innovative methods are deployed. But again, it's a good idea to use papers previously published in the target journal as examples. Another step is report main findings and results. Be sure to present all the findings that are relevant to your research questions in the results section before the discussion. If you conducted an exploratory analysis, be sure to provide at least a few concise statements on the findings. Next step is ensure discussion is clear and concise. A good starting point for a discussion section is an interpretation of your results. What is it that the reader will have learned from your research? Do not repeat your results in the discussion session. Instead, do the following things. Situate your findings in the literature. Discuss how your findings expand the perspective of the field. Briefly present ways in which future studies can build upon your work and address limitations in your study. Last step is limit number of references. Unlike your thesis, where you can cite those foundational yet potentially dated sources and anything else you may have learned from, journals do sometimes limit the number of citations. For this reason, it's important to make sure to choose the most relevant and recent citations, that the citations are formatted correctly. That's all for this video. Happy researching and publishing. Thanks for watching, friends. Stay home, stay safe. Jai Hind.